Hey everyone, it's Verdelus coming to you again with the third video, the last and third video in the Art of Partnership training. I am the author of the forthcoming book, The Shamanic Artist and the Rise of the Wounded Healer. I've also authored the book Codex of the Soul, Astrology as a Spiritual Practice. And I wanted to share a couple pieces that I talked about in my book, Codex of the Soul, today with you about relational cycles. Had a few concerns come through some of my survey respondents, and these had to do with consciously leaving a relationship. I wanted to talk about that because this year of 2012 really has a lot of relational challenges and opportunities, and it's going to be up to each one of us to step up, and to answer that call. 2012 really is the year in the mirror. It really feels like that paradigm shift, that vibrational shift that we've all been hoping for and activating and, wondering about with this year has so much to do with the people that we're embracing and encountering. I mean, this is definitely one of those years where we're going to be finding a lot of soul contacts, people that we've known before. And how are we going to navigate that? We need a conscious language to do that. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk to you about my Art of Partnership webinar course, where we're going to go step by step through that process of acknowledging and honoring our relationship intent. So, what do we have coming up this year? Well, we have the two planets of love and sex, Mars and Venus, going retrograde. Now, we've talked about Mars and Venus in a previous video. We talked about how Mars is the version of the sacred masculine, the god in the chart, and Venus is the version of the sacred feminine, the goddess. And we talked about the projection of the inner beloved. For men, that would be their Venus position. For women, that would be their Mars position. We talked about how important it is to honor that sacred masculine and feminine in each other. That's where we'll really step up and want to show up in our relationships with another person when we feel like that God and goddess is being honored. So, what does it mean to have these planets going retrograde this year? First, it's a little bit rare. Mars will go retrograde every couple years. Venus will go retrograde every 18 months. And so it's not a as common of a cycle as, say, Mercury retrograde, which happens 3 times a year. So when a planet goes retrograde, it's going on a more internal process. It's going to need to reflect, to regenerate itself, to renew itself. And sometimes there's a little bit of awkwardness in that process when it tries to go out into the world in the way it expresses itself. So for instance, when Mars goes retrograde, Mars is the part of us that is our will center, or our third chakra. It's what drives us. It's that passion meter in all of us. What motivates me? It's almost like the question why is answered by Mars. This is what drives me. This is what catalyzes me. So when Mars goes retrograde, we're really looking at what is our motivating factor. Why do I do what I do? And Mars is retrograde in Virgo, which is a sign that is very particular, very detail-oriented. So with Mars going retrograde in Virgo, why do I do what I do every day? See, because Virgo is about our daily practice. It's about sacred service. And Virgo's about health. And this is what's really important, We're going to be asking when Mars goes retrograde in Virgo, which begins January 23rd and ends April 13th. Is what I'm doing every day, including my relationships, is it healthy for me? Is it healthy for another? Am I able to craft something with my partner? And this is where the relationship gets taken more to that level of the sacred partner. And so, since Mars also rules sexuality, we're going to be looking at how we're using our sexual energy. Is it to the benefit of me and my partner? Is it more, recreational? And that recreational nature may not be as fulfilling while Mars is retrograde in Virgo. it almost has a Taoist quality to it. If you know some of the Taoist sexual practices, which have a lot more to do with cultivating the inner chi, um, and really building energy with a partner. So we're gonna maybe feel ourselves retract a little bit, pull back a little bit sexually, and make sure that we're using our energy really appropriately, and and making sure that it is healthy for both of us. Now, with Venus going retrograde, this is going to happen in May, beginning May 15th. She'll go direct June 27th. She will be in the sign of Gemini this whole time. And what's so important about Venus going retrograde is that Venus is the goddess of love. She's the part of us that magnetizes, that attracts. She's our love nature. So when she goes retrograde, all of our social relationships can have a little bit of an awkward or kind of wonky quality to them, where we may feel a little bit like uncertain about how we're interacting with people. Again, Venus rules social experiences. And so we're looking at, how do I attract the people that I attract? Why do I attract them? What kind of friendships do I have? What kind of social experiences are really important to me? And what is so valuable to me in the context of relationship? That is what Venus is really concerned with, my value system. So, because Venus is retrograde in Gemini too, she's going to be asking us to look at curiosity, diversity, many types of relationships as being more fulfilling. Because Gemini is a sign that learns through difference, through exposing itself to, like I said, diversity. And so if we're in a stable type of committed relationship, we may need to open it up at that time or look at some alternative ways of relating. And this is leading to the next point, which was this question by one of my survey respondents. And it had to do with, the cycles of relationships and entering and exiting consciously and with compassion. And Venus really has a lot of guidance for us in this because of her cycle. Venus takes a year to go around the chart or around the sky, the sun. And so this is interesting because Venus is the goddess of love. So on one level, our love relationships go through a natural year-long cycle. And with Venus, she's teaching us that we should be, if we're going to make a commitment to someone, maybe we should be renewing that love vow or that love commitment to that person after a year. This is an interesting idea. It was practiced in a lot of pagan and Celtic traditions, and still is, with a practice called hand fasting. And what this was, in a nutshell, was that you would find a partner, someone that you were really connecting with. And in the tradition, it was actually at one of the festivals. It was Lammas, or the first harvest festival in August. This is a peak festival time for all of us in the summer. So maybe it's Burning Man for people, maybe it's another festival. But it's kind of like we're coming together, we're celebrating, we find this energy that we really vibe strong with. And in the tradition, you would make a vow at that point to commit to that person for a year and a day, which again is the natural Venus cycle. And after that year and a day, you would come back in front of your community and you would choose at that point whether you wanted to do it again for a year and a day, you enjoyed this journey of sharing and learning, or you wanted to do it for the rest of your life. You had been through a cycle of seasons together, and you really wanted to take it to the ultimate level. Or the third option was that you would do a kind of hand parting. And literally when hand fasting was occurring, you would take ribbons and tie them around each other. This is where we get the term tie the knot. And in hand parting, you would take these ribbons and you would cut them. And it was a symbolic gesture of going our separate ways. And this was an honorable act. this was a respectable act because it showed that you'd been on a journey together for a year, that you had gone on a cycle of the seasons and you'd done work with each other, sacred work. And maybe some things weren't working out anymore, and that's okay, you know, but you had that stable partner, and I think this is a model that a lot of us are looking for today, where we have a level of commitment, and yet we don't feel that kind of pressure or even just uncertainty of what it means to be with someone for the rest of our life, when the world today is moving so quickly and so many relationships are coming in and out of our lives. And because, we are, especially in 2012 and in the turn of the ages here between the Pisces and Aquarius age, we are really inviting and magnetizing these soul contracts, people that most likely we've incarnated with many times before. Our relationships really are what catalyzes our evolution. Some may argue more than anything else. So if 2012 is going to be this year that promises this huge shift, it's going to come through these people that we're relating with. So because Mars is going retrograde in Virgo and is bringing sort of a hypercritical eye to our relationships and our sexuality and how we use our energy, and because Venus is going retrograde in Gemini and asking for some different models of relationship, including different languages for relationship, this has really motivated me as an evolutionary astrologer to teach the Art of Partnership webinar course. So I wanted to just share a couple of the main points of what we're going to cover in that course. And if you're interested, you can go to soulalchemyastrology.com to check out all the details and to register for the course. So this course is all about you. It's really going to be about every person that comes to the class, and I'm going to go step by step by showing you how to first pull up your chart or a partner's chart, because I want you to be able to do this for the rest of your life if that's what you want to do. So we'll show you how to do that online, and we're going to take you step by step through activating, honoring your relationship integrity. So like we talked about in other videos, who is the god and goddess in your chart? The masculine and feminine. We're going to go through Venus and Mars, through all of their signs and their house positions. Sacred masculine and feminine. We're going to show you how to feel emotionally nourished and comforted and be able to speak to that to your partner and honor that part of your partner in this sacred relating. That's going to be about the moon. We're going to talk about different communication styles with Mercury, and also the effect of the sun and long-term connection with another. I know a lot of us are confused by astrology. It seems a little bit overwhelming. So what I wanted to do in this course was present some multimedia material to demonstrate, for instance, the versions of the god and the goddess, or the sacred masculine and feminine. So I'm going to use some examples from film. That's going to be really fun. I'm going to also use mind maps. So more of the right brain is being involved. So hopefully it won't be too overwhelming. We're going to take it step by step. You can ask me questions throughout the course. Send me emails. We're going to look at, everyone wants to find their soulmate. So we're going to look at, what does that really mean to find a soulmate? How do we recognize that in the chart? What is a karma mate? How does that differ from a soulmate? And we're going to talk about how to compassionately navigate polyamory. This is a question a lot of us are asking right now. Should I have more of an open relationship? Should I be more committed to a single person, and for what length of time, as we were talking about? There are signs that are more generally polyamorous, naturally polyamorous, and signs that are more monogamous in their nature, and even signs that prefer solitude. Right? So we're going to guide you through that, and acknowledging that, well, one aspect of myself, maybe my masculine nature, has a more polyamorous quality, and maybe my feminine nature or my emotional need would prefer a monogamous connection. Well, how do I navigate that? How do I speak to that with my partner? How do I not make my partner feel confused by that, So we'll also look at codependency and transcending that in our connection, by really getting to the core of honoring who each person is, and transcending any addictive qualities in our relationships. We're really trying to move at this time out of those stories of guilt and projection and blame, and a lot of the conditions in relationships that maybe some of us saw growing up, or we have just ingrained in our culture. And we're moving towards innocence, towards freedom. This is that move into the Aquarian age. So we're really going to talk about how to do that, and all of us are ambassadors for this new kind of consciousness. So it's not easy. But we're also going to talk about timing. Is it the right time for me to be in a relationship, and what kind of relationship? As well, composite charts. Who are the two of us as one? And how does that differ than how each person affects the other? One of the last things I'm really excited about with this course is that every class will be recorded. So if you need to miss a class, you're going to be able to get a copy of the video right after the class. So no worries with that. This class isn't for everyone. It's really for people who want to get transparent with themselves and their partner. Who am I in relationship? What do I need? What do I need at this time in my life? What is my relationship intent and integrity? And just getting really clear with that for this current relationship you may be in, or any future partnership that's coming into your life. And maybe you're not there yet, but you want to get clear when it does show up. And that's what this course is all about. So if this all sounds really appealing to you, if you're ready to take your relationships to the next level, to be really confident, I want to invite you to go to soulalchemyastrology.com and just register there. If you have any questions, just send me an email. If you can't do the course at this time, I totally understand. And if you want to sign up for a consultation, a private consultation, just hit me up with an email as well. And we can do anything from relocation astrology, finding your power places, to a forecast for the year 2012, to a relationship chart, or even a chart for parents and their children. So I'm really excited about this course. I've been really blessed to share this information with you, and I hope it's been helpful and a good journey that you've been on. Stay tuned for my newsletter, and as the year's unfolding, we're going to have some very dynamic energy. So I wish you all an abundant and very blessed 2012, and may your relationships be filled with light and love. Aho, namaste.